ये आपको एक और बड़ी वॉइस सुनवाते हैं बाजार पे वैल्यू इन्वेस्टिंग का तो इस समय क्रेज देख ही रहे हैं हम इंडिया में, ग्लोबली भी। लॉरेन टेम्पल्टन जो टेम्पल फंड्स एंड फिलिप फंड्स चलाती हैं और सर जॉन टेम्पल्टन की नीस हैं डायरेक्टली, उन्होंने निकुंज से बातचीत की थी अभी कुछ समय पहले। और वैल्यू इन्वेस्टिंग में कैसे अप्रोच होनी चाहिए, इंडिया क्या लगता है उनको, ग्लोबली किस तरह से वो अप्रोच कर रही है इन्वेस्टिंग। आइए उनको आपको थोड़ी सी झलकियाँ सुनाते हैं उनकी।
My father became very interested in investing and became a full-time student of the stock market. And he allowed me to pick one stock per month. And he would buy me a share of any company in the world I wanted. And at the time, they would send you a stock certificate. So he would take the stock certificates and hang them on the wall of my room. And my room was wallpapered in stock certificates. I think this really hooked me on value investing because I understood these stock certificates to represent my ownership in the businesses. We do like India because we think, even though valuations are quite high in India, as I think many have pointed out, it is not even, right, in the Indian markets. I think some stocks have participated in the market a lot more than others. And we like India because it combines many attractive macroeconomic factors, including a low per capita income, a young population, and a heavier presence of higher margin asset-light firms in the technology sector. So, for example, India's per capita income is $6,390 US compared with China at 17,200. We think that when countries experience economic growth from a low base, the creation of wealth among its citizens is transformative to the economy. This is much like China's economy 20 years ago. So we would expect to see some good performance in consumer discretionary stocks, et cetera, in the Indian market, so to say. And then, of course, if you turn to demographics, India has a very young population compared to many other areas of the world. You have a median age of 28.4 years. That's versus 38.1 in the US and 38.4 in China, 42.5 in Europe, and 48.4 in Japan. So that's really important to remember. And then, of course, India's technology sector is very well developed and represents 7.7% of your GDP versus, I think, 5 something in the US. So these are all really positive aspects for investing in India, even though your markets had a great year last year and were top performers in the Asia region for sure. But we're still finding value in some companies in India and other places around the world. It is not different. So history doesn't exactly repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And in my opinion, it is not different. I see this market as highly analogous to the dot-com bubble in the late 90s, early 2000s. I have a new podcast called Zinvesting Podcast, and my first guest that I interviewed was Jim Rogers, and he was reminding me of how it reminds him of the bubbles in radios. Sir John was quick to walk me through every bubble he saw in his life, whether that was electricity or automobiles. So people who have seen these things over and over again start to see the similarities. And I certainly think there are some similarities in today's market. I mean, it is true in the US, the Fed can keep printing money. And I suspect they will continue doing that. And this market could go on a little further, although the NASDAQ is already in correction territory today. I suspect that these excesses and bubbles will come to an end, and it will be painful for many of the new investors that have entered the market. Unfortunately, these are the lessons that novice investors often have to learn before they can identify these events in the future.
चलिए ठीक है, तो आप ये बिग वॉइसेस भी सुन रहे थे लगातार जो अपना बाजार और इंडिया पर एज एन